Soulless Corporate Remake number 3 of 2025 is set to drop this weekend, and well, the audience's taste for slop has yet to be satiated from Disney, so why not just look on over to Universal and watch them pillar and plunder DreamWorks, why don't we? So How to Train Your Dragon won't be lagging at the summer box office with $175 to $185 million global opening weekend. God damn it, man, this is... Oh, it's dire. Creativity, innovation, and ingenuity are stone cold dead. All people want are simple nostalgia keys jangled in front of their faces for them to go, I remember that, I know Toothless, I know Hiccup, I know Astrid. Wait, that's not but anyways, we'll get into that very shortly because, yeah, domestic box office estimates this week's opening and the live action adaptation of Universal DreamWorks animation How to Train Your Dragon is set to be between $65 and $75 million domestically across 4,000 theaters. But yes, don't be shocked if this beloved title overperforms, because I haven't heard anything concrete in regards to reviews, whether or not this is good, bad, or indifferent. All I've heard is it's a fairly faithful shot-for-shot remake of the original animated classic from, what, a decade ago? Which begs the question even harder, why are you doing this if you're just going to be doing shot-for-shot? The only thing that I've heard changed, and I'm going to have to get this backed up, is that there's a pretty significant girl boss edit at the end that differentiates and delineates itself from the remake that, yeah, might end up ruffling a few feathers, but I'll have to listen to a far more in-depth breakdown before I go into any speculation. We're just simply focusing on what we have to deal with here. This isn't Gus Van Sant, okay, take on Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, meaning a shot-for-shot version of the original 2010 movie, even though, yeah, it has original How to Train Your Dragon architect Dean DeBlois behind the camera. Yeah, it's so funny because a couple of weeks ago you had the Lilo and Stitch live-action remake. Yay! But Dean DeBlois was also a co-writer alongside Chris Sanders on the original Lilo and Stitch, as well as How to Train Your Dragon. So it's so nice to see both of those guys' seminal works shed on in very quick succession. But that's not totally fair. Okay, How to Train Your Dragon in a live action might be tremendous, but yeah, I doubt it. It's probably going to be better than Lilo and Stitch, but that's really not saying all that much. Cool, you're better than a 1. Fantastic. There's a lot of heart and there's a lot of flying swoops that set this live-action reboot apart, not to mention Mason Thames and Nico Parker's perspective turns as Hiccup and Astrid. The duo take entire ownership of the characters, no carbon copies here. Well, to be fair though, Hiccup, you know, he kind of looks like the YouTuber Disparu from that angle, but yeah, he looks an awful lot like the animated source material, and Toothless looks, well, just like Toothless would if he was live action, right? So it's interesting that you want to use that verbiage, but critics on Rotten Tomatoes are 81% fresh. The original animated movie was 99%. Okay, How to Train Your Dragon, it will have all of the firepower of all of the goofy-ass deluxe theater accoutrements that you couldn't pay me to go and experience, because all of that shit outside, like, I've never seen an IMAX, and in fact the closest IMAX screen to me is a 4-hour drive south to Edmonton, so I've never seen a movie in IMAX before, and I've never really been all that persuaded in recent years to break with that trend. So hop in those stupid rockin' boxes, yeah, it doesn't really sound like that much fun to me. But estimates for the full international opening through Sunday point to $110 million range, with room for upside. Global start for the movie, produced by Mark Platt, Adam Siegel, and DeBlois, to $175 to $185 million. The international take includes offshore previews, which will roll up that number through Monday. The previews estimate $21.8 million. How to Train Your Dragon started significant right overseas previews last weekend and begins official rollout on Wednesday. So yes, by the time that you guys see this, it will be in full previews, and you will be able to see if Toothless lives up to his animated counterpart, which is just kind of weird to say. It's also like saying the live-action Lion King movie, but it's like, well, we kind of know what's going on here. Or if Hiccup is a faithful adaptation. But we can get some insight, because for as much as I haven't heard a damn thing out of Mason Thames, we've heard an awful lot out of Nico Parker, and her initial casting decision was met with, huh? What? No. Astrid Astrid has a look, for sure, and Nico Parker, well, she's kind of lacking in that direction. But yes, of course, she has decided right ahead of the movie's full release to go ahead and run her mouth. It's like, why do you have to do this stuff? Like, what is causing young actresses? Okay, what is causing, well, entitled actors and actresses, because you got to lump Pedro Pascal in there. No, what is causing them to freak out? And I would say hurt the chances of your movie at the theater, but honestly, like, this is going to be one of those Symphony or Revo freak out on the fan edit situations, where this is a movie very much for a different audience, and for as much as I look at this and go, oh my god, it's just, it's solipsism run amok once again. It's like nobody actually cares about your hair color, because here's the thing, bitch, you can put on a fucking wig, okay? That's the thing about acting. Okay, we don't want you because of who you are in the role. We want you because of your talent and pretending you're being somebody else. That's the thing about acting, or at least that's what it used to be about. If we could just go ahead and get back to that, we would be a much healthier industry. But of course we're not. But no, for as much as you and I will see articles like this, family audiences, they ain't gonna give a shit about that. They'll just go, oh, look at How You Train Your Dragon. I remember that film. You want to go see the dragon? You want to go see the dragon movie? Yay! And then it's just going to make all the money, and it's going to encourage more of these studios to go ahead and remake all of their old beloved classics, or just reboot beloved franchises. And it's once again just another stake driven into the heart of creativity. But How to Train Your Dragon star Nico Parker says, I just don't care that people are upset over her casting. I can't value your opinion on my hair. Right. Yeah. It would be like if they're... it's like if Warner Brothers was running back and they were rebooting Steel and they went, Don, we want you to star in the titular role. I would have to look at that contract and go, well, not quite a stand-in. I'm a little bit shorter, but of a similar stature to Shaquille O'Neal. But there's something very different about that original faithful interpretation as opposed to what your vision for the reboot is, okay? Maybe, hey, if Ryan Coogler is serious about making Black Panther 3, perhaps I could get cast as the new Black Panther. If you know, you know. But this Nepo baby right here, bitch, it's not about your fucking hair. It's about you not being Astrid. You don't look anything like her. It's always so funny, right? Because you also see, like, over on the sidebar right there, okay? Over the weekend, you're going to get a video specifically about Draco Malfoy and all the stuff going on with him, okay? And it's so funny because they just announced the casting for both Lucius and for Draco. And it's always funny. It's always funny how these reboots, remakes, reimaginings always seem to get a certain demographic spot on. But when it comes to other characters, they seem to be able to take far more liberties. Strange thing about that, huh? But let's take a look at the rest of this. Okay, maybe that was just a quote taken out of context. Maybe she was far more level-headed. I'm sure Nico Parker is paying no mind to those who are upset about her casting in the live-action How to Train Your Dragon. In a recent interview with the Times of London, Parker addressed the online backlash surrounding her casting as the young dragon butt kicker Astrid, who's apparently supposed to reign supreme at the end of the movie. But anyways, some are upset that Parker doesn't have blonde hair, blue eyes like the character in her original animated How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah, exactly, because, oh my god, just because I wasn't born with that is like, bitch, there's contact lenses and fucking wigs. This isn't difficult. However, the 20-year-old British actress explained that she does not let those comments go to, or get to her head. Yes, because there's just so many other comments like, oh, you're so great, you're so wonderful, oh my god, you're only 20 years old, can you put me in contact with your parents so I can also get just easy casting roles? Not because of your talent, but just because, who you were birthed by. That's why you get these opportunities. You have all of those other thoughts running through your otherwise empty head. There's some people that really love the animated movies and really want to see an exact play-by-play of that film. Oh, cool. Now you're denigrating the source material. That's great. Good stuff. Keep it up. And I hope that you can watch the new version and find something that you love about it regardless. But the people who just hate inclusivity, oh no, she said the thing. Guys, hit the button. She said the thing. Hate change when it comes to that side of things. I just don't care. If I wouldn't value your opinion on most things in life, I can't value your opinion on my hair. If I did, I would go mad. Parker comes from a family of filmmakers. Her father is director Old Parker, and her mother actress, Tandy Newton. Oh, okay. Funny. She was definitely cast for her talent. right? She added that, when she was younger, the representation in Hollywood of mixed race or black icons was really minimal. Bitch, you're 20. When you were growing up, that shit was in full fucking flight. Don't try to sell me on this line of horseshit. It was unbelievable 20, 30 years ago, but to try to to try to paint this revisionist history of what, 5 years ago? Like, fuck right off. You're 20. You were legitimately born yesterday, but thinks it's really special to see how far the industry has come. There's still a long way to go for women in general. Oh, this gets worse. Like, this is just so much worse than just simply, oh, you don't like my hair color. It's all the talking points. God, I hope this movie fails. In terms of new parts, original material, and female-led stories, but I think that everything's changing. Yeah, it is. And how well is it performing at the box office? That's one good thing, but now you're just subverting the classics and ruining everybody else's childhood that was just not diverse enough for you. Hey, if you wanted to make actual changes, if you wanted to have female-led stories, if you wanted to have people of Kular's stories told, why don't you tell those stories? Oh, no. You have to hop on a Norse bandwagon in order to get some work. Funny how that shit works. Can't we have an adaptation of an African story, or in your case, an African American story? Because let's keep it a buck. Your professed oppression, yeah, you've never experienced it a moment in your privileged fucking life. The original How to Train Your Dragon, loosely adapted from a 2003 children's book by Cressida Cowell, was released in 2010 and went on to gross a massive $495 million worldwide. Yes, leading cast members included Jay Baruchel, Gay, Gerard Butler. I think he's in the live-action remake, right? And then, of course, America Ferrara, noted not female and definitely white, right? God, what an idiot. In this review, yeah, the live-action How to Train Your Dragon hits theaters, yes, June 13th, this Friday, and honestly, if it could fail, that would be fantastic, because we have yet to see the Rachel Zegler meltdown. I would just kind of think, especially the way that she's positioning herself, if this thing doesn't end up taking off, which it's very much going to, okay? Don't get it twisted. This movie's going to make a lot of goddamn money. That's why we prefaced it with the previews. She is going to go on the whole racist, misogynist meltdown tour, and it would be glorious. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.